Hello. Bear with me a bit. New phones, so it may all go horribly wrong and collapse. I was going to quickly talk about uh, Razormaid, um, which was a record subscription service for DJs out in the United States, based in San Francisco, California, I think. Um, there's lots of DJ only record subscription services. This is a whole kind of area of vinyl in the music industry that exists at a different level to what you find on the high street, what you read about in the magazines. It's a club only thing, and particularly sort of in the 1980s and into the 90s. This was vinyl based stuff, usually 12-inch, sometimes LP based, and companies like Razormaid, who I'm going to talk about, and DMC, Disconet, Hot Tracks, all these different DJs could subscribe to these services, and the companies would send them records with exclusive mixes of up and coming club and sometimes chart hits. They would, if they're particularly well connected, they would visit the studios or the record companies, and they would be able to access the actual master tapes of these records, to do like really intense mixing. If they didn't have access to the master tapes, they did. There was often since the sort of late 70s disco era, a lot of very clever, meticulous sort of tape editing, looping sections to extend tracks or just to highlight great bits of them. And the one I like most is, like I say, Razormaid, which is really hard to come by, certainly here in the UK. But as an example, I've got a couple here. You can see they've got very nice sort of die cut sleeves, i.e. sleeves with holes in. I think owe something to Peter Saville's designs for the first Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark album, which we'll talk about at some point. As you can see, and it slides out like so. I'll put that one up there as well. Double 12-inch. This one features, who's on it? It's mid-80s, Eurythmics, I Need a Man, Depeche Mode, Behind the Wheel. It's a really excellent mix of that. I Start Counting, also on mute. Blue Mercedes, I Want to Be Your Property, a pop hit of the mid to late 80s. Razormaid stuff, always for a while in these great fancy, probably quite expensive sleeves, usually on coloured vinyl. The ones I have here happen to be on white vinyl, but yeah, they did all sorts of other colours. Quite cunningly, I don't know if you can quite tell. I'll put this back in the sleeve to show you. But if you had a whole sequence of these, it would spell out, if you had 10 records in a row, it would spell out Razormaid. This happens to be a letter I, if you can see that. This is the exclamation mark at the end of Razormaid. Now is it RMAID exclamation mark. This one, sleeve's falling apart a bit, for instance, has a good mix of The Race by Yellow on there, and Psychic TV, Tune In, Turn On the Acid House. And the reason I particularly picked up this one, Pet Shop Boys are on there. There's an extended mix of I Get Excited, You Get Excited Too, which was just a B-side. Everywhere else it was just a B-side to the single Heart, but so wasn't any other versions of it apart from the standard song edit. But on here you get a very, very neatly done re-edited extended mix. So yeah, you won't find any other mix to that anywhere else, so that's really, really worth picking up for. And again, this one happens to be white vinyl. These I got when I was on holiday in California. On the penultimate day of my holiday, we went to a small bookshop, in fact, in Venice Beach. Really small bookshop. Happened to have a handful of a few crates of like jazz records at the counter, and because it's California, when we went in, the owner was chatting to the actor Owen Wilson and his friends about jazz records. It's like, oh, girls, we're near Hollywood, that's going to happen. And I popped upstairs to sort of see what was in the upstairs, and yeah, there's crates and crates of pop, rock, and dance LPs and 12 inches. Managed to pull these two out though. They're expensive. I probably paid about sort of $30 each, which is a bit more than I would ordinarily pay for stuff. But well, the cat's getting in the way. Yeah, I was never going to see them again, and I was right. I've never seen them again. I've only ever seen one other Razormaid 12-inch in the wild, which was on the same holiday in Santa Monica, which had, I think, Ministry were on it, but I'd spent my money by then. Razormaid, as they entered the 90s, they started going from vinyl into CD. There's a lot of CD compilations of this stuff they put out again, but it's for DJs only, so you can't get hold of them unless you pay over the odds on the internet. They then went to CDRs a bit later on, which seems to be problematic according to the very diligent people on Discogs who've logged all this stuff. That's that. But I would say I really hope one day to find more. Lots of my favourite artists were involved in these, had their music remixed by Razormaid and other companies like Hot Tracks and stuff. Razormaid particularly had a good focus on European music. So, as I said, Eurythmics, Pet Shop Boys, Cat. See what I have to put up with? But you know, New Order, OMD, Erasure, loads of great stuff. My cat is a grumpy cat this morning. Yes, here. Anyway, like I say, Razormaid. Have you got any others? Are there other disco mix services you would recommend? But they're brilliant. The cat disagrees. I'm just going to upload this up, and I think I'm going to feed the cat and see quite what's up with her. But yeah, have a great weekend, and I'll try and work out how to turn my new phone off, and I'll see you soon. Bye.